points. Everybody's going with Northwood. That's why you're all about to lose your channel points potentially. Northwood, they're trying to keep up the undefeated season, going up against their nemesis of Fisher, a squad that's always looking to best them. It's time to get into the match.
The league's most pass-heavy offense against one of the best defenses CRL has to offer, if not the best. Corelli is set up to be a classic here at the top of the Eastern Conference.
16 wins between these two teams and only a single loss, but this one certainly will mean a lot between these two teams, as you mentioned, at the top here of the Eastern Conference. But of course, they have their eyes set for even further into the season, past league play, and maybe a precursor to what we're going to get in playoffs.
And finally, a real test to see who is truly deserving of the #1 spot in the East. Dish out to the middle, and they're going to feed the big dog. Sosa starts it off.
That's the guy you want on the behind-the-ball money. What a second double tap here to put it across on Sosa. Achieves, we were talking about it. We're going over the stats. He's shooting just under 50%. 50% in the league.
Money.
48% if you want to be specific, but my goodness, he has been stellar in the shooting department here in CRL, and he is 1 for 1 here tonight.
Cannot knock it. Clinical all season long. And now an opportunity for Northwood to find an answer. Hockey with a hard challenge down into the middle. Lion Blaze trying to press the issue into the corner. Actually able to work it through a couple defenders and down in front. Hockey leaves it go for Zanil. Little miscommunication, some hesitation there on the Northwood side to make sure they don't squander the chance. Unfortunately, that will set the door closed for them as finally Fisher able to buy a little bit of breathing room. Yeah,
that's a good touch there from Money. Right back to Kinsey, and Fisher really backed up there. Northwood started to clamp down for just a moment. You see, look at the space given up to Zanil here, as Sosa is forced to just kind of throw his body into the play, and now an opportunity for Fisher to set up.
Kinsey, air dribble right into the waiting arms of Lion Blaze. Zanil quick follow-up off the backboard, but unfortunately lost a little bit of control. Fisher trying to make sure that they're the ones in possession here, but they end up giving away the midfield boost. This is going to be a tenuous hold at best. It's going to be a hard-fought battle for them to keep the ball. And Money just in time. Lion Blaze will finally break them out. Hockey with a completely open net, doesn't even have to. Took a big bite of Kinsey out on the wall.
Yeah, I think Hockey, like you said, got someone on the back wall, but look at this shot from Lion Blaze, speeding Money to the ball. Hockey getting a piece of one, and that one just floats in. Northwood find their response with almost the first 2 minutes played through here.
Pretty solid game overall. Nothing too crazy. Both teams definitely feel in the poking and prodding stage on the attack, which is, I think, to be expected when it comes to two teams at the top. I don't think anybody is underestimating anybody else in this particular lobby.
I think when you look at Fisher and the way they try and set up their offense, they very much are looking to pass in that final third. We've seen a couple times now. Money obviously executing on the first goal, but there's been a couple more times where players are trying to find each other in this final third from Fisher, but they have been stopped. And the reason why is Northwood have packed it in defensively. They have not allowed Fisher to find any gaps after that first goal, and Lion Blaze, he has been a menace in the midfield.
Big menace, along with a couple of nice demo plays from Northwood, throwing off the timing of that Fisher squad. Hockey out in the middle. Lion Blaze is there. The shot will be wide. Money will make sure to escort it to the safety of the corner, and he's been pressing hard. Money's been trying to get real sticky with some of his challenges. He realizes his team needs a little bit of help. Lion Blaze had an opening, couldn't slam the door, and Zanil just trying to keep possession will steal away a corner boost.
And that Northwood offense really going to work here by beating the first man. Hockey gets one. Lion Blaze trying to come through and take it away. Zanil's trying to force it. Still, Northwood have the ball here somehow, and now it's just Zanil, and the shot goes a bit wide. Money, well, he's got to field this shot from Hockey, as again, the defense from Fisher, they have been holding on, but my goodness, they are getting beaten up.
Oh, and the pass is too far. Lion Blaze thought it was going to be coming straight down. It instead went across the box. Zanil doesn't quite get all of that one. Finally, Fisher find a way out, at least past the midfield line for now. But what a press from Northwood. Sosa with a little bit of room to work with. Pass across. Money's not ready for it. Has to reset in the side wall. And Fisher just trying to make sure that everyone's on the same page here. But Zanil working hard Always looking for possession, always taking the space if he's got it. He's been another problem for Fisher to handle in game one.
And it really has been a hallmark for a lot of the top teams in CRL is all of the best teams look for possession. And when they can't keep possession, they put it towards space and make it awkward for the opposition to regain that possession. Both these teams have been doing that so far. Fisher maybe will have only their second or third chance on offense as Northwood have really moved up their line to the midfield. It's been tough for Fisher to break out. Here comes Zanil now, so you can't get the dunk on Kinsey.
Sosa needing that speed to finally break through that midfield line. Hockey looking for help from Lion Blaze to space. They set up a little bit of a screen. Unfortunately, the play not developing fast enough, and Hockey will just peel out and try and reset for this pass up near the ceiling. Can he reach it off the backboard? No chance. Kinsey waiting for it. Sosa not able to get a handle on it. And Northwood just trying to figure out if there's any actual gaps in that Fisher defense, or do we go to overtime with only 10 left? Dumped out to the side. Do they give it the gas here? Kinsey to the middle, pressing, and it's going to find its way through. 2-1 with 4 left.
And how did he make his way across? He was in the corner, and a second touch, and then the pre-flip and the dunk. That could have not gone any better for Kinsey.
And Zanil, he wasn't even really in a bad spot. He had the line on the ball to go out. It was just perfectly executed from Kinsey. Northwood, do you have an equalizer in the tank? Sosa to drop it down. Thievery in game one.
Wow. Fisher. Geez, we look at the stats. Fisher had to put up 9 saves to the 12 shots coming out from Northwood. I mean, this is one of those things where this game was leaning towards Northwood despite the equalized score. Northwood were in control. They were really making Fisher work defensively, but Fisher hung in there and were able to figure it out, especially with that play from Kinsey. And for Fisher, what a way to steal game one.
Yeah, always found a way. That was the most important part. Even getting bumped and demoed, even having to give up possession, even with Zanil trying to hold the ball as much as possible. Look at all this tight passing in the box that they had to keep an eye on and not get too antsy with. That was a very tough game defensively, and it came down to that 4-second dunk from Kinsey around the corner. What can you say? Honestly, if you're Northwood, if you ask me, don't change anything. Yeah, that was a good game. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they play good defense and they get 3 at 4 seconds. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't think, if you're Northwood, it's just like, that sucks. Okay, go next. You got a long series ahead of you still. And the good news for Northwood is for the majority of that game, they were in complete control over Fisher. So that's the big takeaway for Northwood is you got to stay the course. Didn't fall in your favor this time, but the offense was there. It was working quite well. And really the defense was rock solid from Northwood. They just didn't execute enough on offense.
You're really, if you're a Fisher fan, you're happy you won game one, but you do want to see a little bit more field presence here in game two, ideally. And it might come in the form of the start. Finally, Sosa denied at the goal line. Hockey able to recover just in the nick of time to start off game two. As Sosa actually racing back, he may not make it. Lion Blaze is just going to throw it in his face.
And did Lion Blaze just land on this one? He got it over 2, kept going with the boost, and then lands on it with Sosa? I mean, that's just ridiculous from Lion Blaze.
The brain says, yeah, I can get there. And I mean, respect it. He doesn't have a better play.
It's such a smart play, too, because, I mean, he knew that he beat 2 because he was the one to do it. So he knew there was only one man back, and he had the boost to get back to the ball. And he was the first one down the field.
Just press.
Yeah, I mean,
see what happens. You never know.
Fortune favors the bold, I suppose. And here's a double tap from Money, who finds one right back for Fisher.
Favoring the bold is right. Fortune favors Money. Takes a hard double with a defender. Hockey's there, but it is a tough ball. And you love the commitment to say, I'm not playing the block. I'm playing the bounce off the wall. If they clear it, they clear it. I want to make sure I get it on frame. Money nailed it.
Yeah, I think the speed he was coming in with, he couldn't really play the block anyways. He was screaming in there. The double tap was necessary, and here comes Fisher. They did this before. Found the equalizer pretty quickly, and then the game really leveled out. Fisher trying to break it wide open, but Hockey is there to clear it out.
We're in Sosa getting bullied in the back line. Zanil hard flick, and indeed the door is wide open. They were just stuck to Sosa.
Big question. Trying to get the bump there, but the defense is just too slow from Fisher. And of course, some help from his teammates. Zanil has the lane opened up for him. And Northwood back into the lead.
4 minutes remaining in game 2. Definitely a little bit of a more hotly contested game than game 1 was, despite a relatively similar score line. This one definitely getting battled out in the midfield early on. I'm curious to see if Zanil is able to continue to find space to work with, and indeed he will throw one across the net. Sosa thankfully has an uncontested look as Lion Blaze unable to find the block, but Northwood not slowing down at all.
Yeah, scary situation there for Fisher. And this is looking more and more like the previous game where Northwood, as you get towards the midsection of this match, it starts to even out, slow down, but
Wow.
Northwood putting on the
Oh, is it
pressure,
in?
and that's a decent pinch. That one's going to go right off the post. And here comes Northwood back the other way. Lion Blaze looking for 2, and he's not going to find it.
Kinsey playing Lion Blaze the whole way there. He knew the ball was high, so he wanted to make sure Lion Blaze couldn't get a double touch. You love that understanding from Kinsey on the play. Ooh, miscommunication, and it's right down the middle. Sosa should have an easy one. And that's why the shooting percentage is so high. That's a gimme.
Tap in for Sosa, but this, it wasn't even a dunk from Kinsey. The ball was just given up by Northwood. Very uncharacteristic from the Northwood squad to just cough it up with 2 players behind it. Kinsey says, thank you very much. I'll throw it towards your net. Sosa there for the tap in.
That was a straight Rocket League fumble if there ever was one. As Lion Blaze strips the ball in the middle and actually didn't even need Zanil's help, just ticked off the crossbar, went straight in.
That one climbed in there, grew an arm, and off the edge of the net. And that is a very fortunate bounce for Lion Blaze. And Northwood are able to earn back their lead.
Thank you, post bounce. We take those. Either way, Zanil had it 100%.
Yeah.
Justified dunk from Lion Blaze. 2:30 left, and again, now you start to kind of scratch your head a little bit as Fisher. You feel like you've kind of given away a couple here in this one, and you still haven't really found that strong offensive footing.
Well, the good news for Fisher is, despite maybe feeling like that, because I don't disagree, you're only down by 1, and you've got plenty of time left on the clock, and maybe an opportunity here if they can grind out the corner, but it's going to be Zanil on the clear. Kinsey looking for more. Sosa off the corner. Kinsey gets a demo, and there it is. Fisher right back in it. They find yet another equalizer.
I was wondering what Northwood was going to do with that really soft ball right at the net, because, you know, trapping it feels a little dangerous because you're right in front of net and you might just get swarmed. And if you hit it too soft, your teammate might be committing to that corner boost. And it was actually a very awkward position to have to play, and nobody on Northwood really had the time to figure out what to do.
So now if you're Northwood, I mentioned, you know, the game started to look similar to the previous in game 1, but Fisher has proven to have their offense ramp up at the right time. Here comes Kinsey, and it's getting a bit dicey. Hockey is able to get a piece of it, and here comes Zanil. Northwood quickly turned this one on its head. Zanil looking for 2, but denied by Money.
With a huge demo and a shot immediately on target. Kinsey not screened by Zanil in the net, recovering and taking his time on the push back the other way. Money floater into the middle. Sosa trying to pick his moment, back out to the corner, and Money says, I want the boost. Somebody else figure it out.
Still tied. Just over a minute left. You look towards your big playmakers in these moments, especially against the competition that we have here today. The leaders here at the top of this Eastern Conference. Sosa, as we mentioned, he's been a big shooter for Fisher. Can he step up, or is it Hockey who almost just goes through the defense by himself? Bit of disarray here in the corner, but Lion Blaze trying to set up. He's got Zanil across the box, and again, that Fisher defense puts up a wall.
Great 50, just to put it neutral, but Zanil found an open spot in the top left corner, a small gap, and he slides right through.
And what a clang from Zanil. Hockey let it go, Zanil flicking into it, and that's a great placement by Zanil, far post. The defense can't get there, and Northwood on their 12th shot score their 4th goal, and almost a kickoff goal. Lion Blaze runs into Money.
Sosa's solo attempt going nowhere, and not really too many options with the touch off the sidewall. Hockey, noticing the space, decides to take his time, tees it up for Zanil, and he will be immediately turned to scrap metal, leaving Northwood shorthanded here for just a moment as Lion Blaze will just hold the ball and hope his team is able to recover. And at long last, there comes Zanil out of the midfield, and Northwood looking to stall out the clock beautifully here with 10 left. Money on a flip reset, gets through a couple with a miss, but Zanil comfortable on defense. Kinsey out to the side, last chance here for Fisher. Money has Sosa at the far post, and unfortunately will get chopped down. Northwood take back what should have been theirs in game 1 and tie things up.
Some redemption for Northwood, as you said, and this one was, I would say, much more earned in game 1 than game 1. Here in game 2, I mean, they had to put up more defense against Fisher, who definitely showed their offensive teeth just a bit more here despite losing. And Northwood, of course, having to pick the right spot as that Fisher defense certainly ramped up as well. It seems like every game achieves getting better and better, and that's kind of the expectation here with a team like Northwood, or the teams like Northwood and Fisher on the pitch tonight.
Better and better is right, as is tradition in CRL. Always goes down to the wire, it feels like, when you get these top-level matchups. But for now, still, I think for myself, I'm giving the edge to Northwood. It definitely feels like a more cohesive attack across the board. But that being said, you're right. Fisher did find a few openings, like this particular one. It took a 3-man effort to get the job done, but however you do it's however you do it. They end up putting up, 11 shots total for Fisher, so the offense did come back to life, even if it's not in the way I like to see it, and I can't really fault them for that.
Yeah, and I think Fisher definitely gave up some weaker goals here, allowed Northwood to kind of get away with a few things. Northwood, I think, doing a great job, as I always say, Chiefs, I mentioned this through all the years of CRL. Rotating through the defense is just some of the strongest one of the strongest strats I think you can employ in Rocket League. Make your play on the ball, then try and get a piece of the last man sitting in net or around the box. And you've seen Northwood do that a lot. A lot of air dribbles that attack the back wall, that turn into bumps, that turn into demos, and it's just thrown Fisher for a loop defensively that they've, give them their credit. They've done a great job weathering that storm, but came up short there in game 2.
Well, game 3 underway, and Northwood once again picking up right where they left off. Shots on target, pressuring that Fisher defense that has stood tall more often than not. Kinsey again gets a couple of cheeky 50s right around that right post. This time, however, he will be turned aside, and Northwood now starting to get pressed pretty hard. Kinsey in a great position. Zanil, nice little delay touch to work through a couple people. Money the only one waiting for it in the middle, and really feels like we might be stretching it a bit far, but it's just enough. Kinsey with power to the left side.
Yeah, I'm curious, who was it on the back wall here? It was Zanil. Had 23 boosts, but just couldn't get down in time, couldn't react to what was happening. And Kinsey, I think, takes advantage of a gap there in the box, puts a shot on target, and despite Northwood having a man on the floor and on the back wall, nobody getting a piece of it, and the gap was found by Kinsey.
Yep, relying on that splitting of jobs in the net. Zanil's idea to cover the net and anything out to the right side, and the guy from the net will cover everything lower left out to the left side, but you hit it fast enough, it'll sneak through, and Zanil doesn't even have to hit it hard, just hit it to the right place again. He's been placing the ball beautifully, and he does so here.
And you got to give credit to Northwood, or to both teams, because realistically, when we've had the first team scored, the other side scores almost immediately. So the response is coming quickly. This time it was Northwood playing from behind. They find the equalizer, and we're through the first minute, all tied up.
Money to themselves on the side wall. Stolen away by Hockey, who is under duress in the midfield from Sosa. Kinsey, who's having a heck of a game in terms of the challenge department. Continuing to break up approach after approach from this Northwood squad in the first couple of games of the series. And does he make it back in time? He will pinch this one off his post. Zanil rockets one to the left side, and one more time, Kinsey will poke it out to safety, but here comes Northwood with a demo. A lot of opportunities here, and Kinsey will dodge the bump. Lion Blaze is waiting at the top of the box, and again, Fisher survive.
I talked about rotating through the defense there. Zanil rips a shot on target, demos the man in net, takes the corner boost on the other side, turns immediately around, and goes for a bump back on the next man on the goal line for Fisher. That is, by definition, rotating through the defense multiple times, and it almost gave Northwood a goal.
Huge credit to Fisher to withstand the pressure. Zanil is trying to do all the work himself up the pitch. Got a little bit squirrely, but still able to force that Fisher defense to respect the approach. Money's just trying to delay here in the midfield. It's going to cost a lot of boost. He does get the flip reset, drops one down for Kinsey. Sosa eyeing this one up, saying, is this, another chance to extend the shooting percentages? How about a pass?
Wow.
And it's a rocket. 2-1 for Fisher.
Well, Money gave Sosa this pass in game 1. And Sosa returning the favor. Wasn't a double tap pass, but it was the same exact pass on the second touch. Sosa just doing it in one, and if I could say it, Achieves, it was right on the money.
It was right on the money. And a perfect kickoff. Hockey in time to make the stop, but he gives his life for it. Sosa, can you turn this one on, or do you pass it again? Didn't quite hit it as hard as he liked. Zanil got a piece of it as he came out across the box, keeping that deficit to 1. But Northwood, now for the second time, find themselves at a disadvantage, needing to find an equalizer, but a bit more time pressure here, and Sosa will extend the lead with another pass out of the corner.
Sosa, man, he is just sitting in the box waiting for his team to feed him, and look at that touch from Kinsey. And even with that last man, I think it was Anil getting a touch on it, still Sosa getting the double tap off the defender and dunking it through. And Fisher now building a lead, a 2-goal lead, as Northwood have not shown the same offense that we've seen the previous 2 games, but as soon as I say it, there's the pass across, and Hockey puts it home.
And it is requiring some perfect placement from both teams to get through. Zanil finding Hockey at the opposite end of the pitch, and literally the only spot that ball goes in was right where he put it.
That is incredible shooting. And now within 1 for Northwood. Work to do with 1:45 on the clock.
Ooh, he just gave the ball. Oh, and Hockey gave it right back. To be fair, you're never really expecting them to just drop the ball on your head when you're coming at speed in the midfield. But still, Northwood would like to have capitalized a little bit more on that mistouch.
You really like to see Northwood set up their offense a bit more. It's become a bit more booming as that one was just thrown downfield. And it's allowed Fisher to break out a lot more easily. You're seeing a bit more solo plays come through. There's the demo from Hockey, and here's your chance. That one's awkward for Sosa. And that one, the favor is returned back towards Northwood as it's pitched over the teammates. And with just under a minute to go, Northwood trying to find a way back into this one.
Nice 50s from Zanil to keep things fairly neutral on the defensive half. And pressing now over into that Fisher corner. Is there anything to work with here? Hockey will win the race against Sosa. Slowly but surely, Northwood start to expand, take away some boost. Should have some really good map pressure here. Unfortunately, Lion Blaze getting absolutely dominated on that challenge.
Look
and
out.
Money with a chance to put one away. Thankfully, not enough power or accuracy. And there's a look here with 15 left. Can Northwood find an opening?
Oh, man. Second touch from Sosa is not going to drop for him, but it was a great effort. 10 seconds left. Northwood to the races here as Kinsey will make the save, and I think Fisher might have denied him here. Lion Blaze trying to keep it up. Zanil's still there. Back to Lion Blaze, and this one's still in favor of Northwood. No, it's not. Good night. Game 3, and Sosa makes sure it's done.
Good night, Northwood White. A tough loss here in Game 3, giving match point advantage over to Fisher. Sosa will end it with an exclamation point, denying any chance of a potential overtime. And what a run it has been for Fisher throughout this series. And now you start to wonder, okay, they know they've played 2 straight games against that Northwood attack. They've done a pretty good job. Northwood's thrown a lot at that Fisher defense. Like, the only thing that has actually beat Northwood so far has been these nasty passes out of the corner. from Fisher, or of course, when they have to press, but the only thing from Northwood that's beat them is pretty much the same thing. They've dodged all the bumps, they've dodged the flip resets, they've got up early to challenge the ball in the air, they're not letting anything off the backboard. Like, Northwood's, it's the whole kitchen plus the sink and the bathwater with the baby. Like, they can't get through them.
No, you're absolutely right. And it is, there is an interesting difference between what we're seeing in this game and what we saw earlier, right? We saw Northwood in control, pressing against Fisher. And now it feels like it's the opposite, right? Now you have Fisher, who's pressing against Northwood. Northwood's backed up. Northwood can't hold onto the ball in the midfield. They're throwing it away. They're giving it back to Fisher, and Fisher has easy outs from their defensive third now. And you see what happens when you allow Fisher to set up and get into their structure. It was a lot more control from Fisher here. It wasn't perfect control, it wasn't complete domination, but it was a lot more control heading in the right direction. And now they sit up in the series and put Northwood on match point.
Scary stuff here if you're Northwood. A chance for Fisher to knock down the currently only undefeated, by the way, team in the Eastern Conference. Is that correct? I'm fairly certain they're the only undefeated team in the conference.
Northwood?
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Fisher has one loss.
Kings.
Yep.
At the very least, knock them down a peg if you're Fisher. Big opportunity here, but you can bet Northwood's certainly not going to go away quietly. Does the offense have any more tricks to throw at that Fisher defense is really the question. And the answer may come in the form of Lion Blaze. How about that pass across the middle? They find Zanil, and they will start things off not even 20 seconds in.
And Zanil knew this pass was coming and knew it was going to be perfect. And some great finesse to put that one home. Lion Blaze putting it on a platter for his teammate. Well, like you said, we've been seeing some great passing here in this series between both teams. So this one's going to be a kickoff goal. Lion Blaze will pass that one into the net, and it's a 2-goal lead for Northwood.
And nasty kickoff. Ooh, yeah, Hockey just got right behind the center of that ball. Just pushed it right through. And Lion Blaze, nice easy follow through on the kickoff. So that's a big lead, honestly. 2-0,
yeah.
With how tight this series has been, an early 2-0 lead feels massive because now you can just camp if you're Northwood, and they have done that before.
And Fisher has really struggled to formulate comebacks. You go back to game one, and they stole that game away, but I feel like in their loss here, Fisher has struggled to fight against the Northwood fight out of the Northwood hole, in that attack. So for Fisher, this is a very scary situation, but there's still 4 minutes left on the clock, and we know that offense was chugging along in the previous game.
And Zanil, honestly, every chance that Zanil gets, I'm fully expecting them to just try and trap the ball and hold it as much as possible. Because you have two great players in Zanil and Lion Blaze who can just extend any type of possession that they have. And as long as Northwood has Hockey coming in out of the backfield or that supporting role wherever he has to be to break up that push, I don't really see a way that Northwood can lose this game, barring big mistakes or huge outplays.
Hey, I like the confidence in the statement, but you might get clipped here.
That's fine. Clip away. If it happens, I'd love to see it.
Lion Blaze looking for two. And
he choked it.
I thought for sure that was going in. I wasn't even giving it the gas because it was open. The Fisher having the fourth man come up big for them there. As Lion Blaze couldn't put it away, was stopped by the post. Here's Hockey. Oh man, he really whipped around and almost got by Kinsey. As Fisher, this is what we worried about, Achieves. You're down 2 goals. You're 2 minutes, little over 2 minutes into this game now. You've thrown up 2 shots, both from Sosa. But otherwise, you really don't have much. You don't have much to write home about right now for Fisher, as now it's a 3-goal lead.
That's all you need. You just need Zanil and Lion Blaze to go out, fight for the ball in the midfield. It'll arrive in a playable spot with those guys. Who's gonna be there? Of course it's Hockey.
So what can Fisher do? I mean, we have seen nothing. No passing, not really any solo plays. Northwood have completely controlled this game in its entirety.
Totally different feel.
I mean, we are very quickly moving towards a game 5.
When you really don't have to press, it becomes infinitely more difficult to beat a team. When they know all they have to do is grab boost, don't get demoed,
Look out.
and you're going to score open nets because they're trying to press.
Man, I don't even know if that was the reason. It just felt like no one could get a hold of this one. Money flipped across, and then Kinsey just, I don't know if he misread it or couldn't get to it in time. I don't know what happened there. And Hockey says, okay, if you guys are going to hit the ball, I will. And here's the fourth.
Always take the free goals when they're given to you. Can never be mad at that type of productivity. But 2 minutes left, honestly. If we were playing Salt Mine, you can bet Fisher would say, okay, let's go next right now, and just play game 5. A 4-goal deficit with 2 minutes in 3v3 is an insane deficit to try to overcome with how much coverage teams have. But Fisher going to give it their best go here. Money with a nice flip reset, immediately covered up by Hockey.
Especially in the context of the game, though, at Chiefs. I mean, this has been a frustrating game for Fisher. They have gotten nothing here. They have not had any free touches, any free looks. Northwood have not made a mistake so far in this game 4, and Fisher can't generate the same dangerous opportunities that we saw in previous games.
Okay, here's a little bit of a miscue from 2 players on Northwood. They strand Lion Blaze in the one-on-one. He's certainly up to the task and will buy plenty of time for his teammates to recover. Zanil up so early to take away all opportunity from Kinsey. Reset in the box for Money. It's actually a screen for Kinsey, but they weren't ready for it, and Hockey will just throw that one out to the midfield. And once again, you'll just see that Northwood defense slow down and force them to get by them. They're going to guard what matters and keep them out of the net.
40 seconds left, just feels like a formality. Northwood have taken care of business here, and they have gotten themselves to a game 5. I think, geez, when you look back on the totality of game 4, exactly what we mentioned. Fisher struggled and has not shown the bite that they once had, but they've got to take this next 20 seconds or so, and then of course the intermission between games to really figure themselves out here. This is a massive game for, I think, when you look towards playoffs and conference championships and what have you. This is the game that I think a lot of people are going to be looking at, and it's important for both teams to put their best foot forward.
Well, early 2-0 lead for Northwood converts to a 4-0 blowout in game 4, and they will force the decider heading over to Champions Field. Fisher, what do you do? Honestly, I'm not super worried about Fisher. I know it looks real bad because they got absolutely nothing going. But then again, I didn't think they were going to have a whole lot to work with. Now that you reset the scores back to 0-0, you see Northwood start to take a little more risk because they now have to score again. And I think that will play a little bit more into Fisher. They tend to thrive in the chaos. You can't beat the computer when the computer knows it's winning, right?
That's a great way to put it, actually. And I think Northwood, once they, like you said, once they got those 2 goals, they knew they were winning that game, and they locked it down. You said park the bus, and I mean they built a wall in front of their net, and Northwood did not allow.
They did Lion Blaze dirty. They put the clip of him missing the shot.
Oh no! Oh no!
The disrespect on the 4-0.
But I think if you're Fisher, I mean, okay, you get it out of your system, you start back 0-0 in game 5, pressure's on here, but this is a big matchup for both teams. But for Fisher, this is one you've been sitting on match point for a couple games now. You got to close out.
Got to close out. Big opportunity. I think a lot will be said and confirmed here in this first minute, because there's a very real chance that Northwood come out in this first minute off of that 4-0 and they're saying, yep, we absolutely smashed them. Yes, we got ahead early and we know we creamed them, but we're going to ride that momentum and just take that and run and force Fisher to continue with that lights out defense that they've had all series. Despite how good it's been, it is not an easy task to handle that much pressure, and I'm curious to see if it cracks here in game 5.
I definitely agree. First couple minutes are crucial for both sides. We talked about how teams were finding responses quickly. Well, game 4 might be an outlier. Kinsey, see what he can put together. Gets through a couple. Sosa trying to force it through. Money, and he pops it high. Gets a second touch, but Zanil makes the save. And somehow, Northwood does not allow that one to go through.
You started to wonder if that touch from Money on the shot might have been a bit far, but it turned out to be a really good idea. It forced the defense to extend even further out to the top left corner. Somehow Northwood able to keep all of that out. Zanil just trying to press here and throw it back into the middle. And actually he's able to work it through. Hockey gets bumped into the play. This is huge. It should increase the time, but actually they just leave the ball and Money missed, and you're right. No boost will absolutely kill all of that push for Northwood.
Yeah, Hockey definitely had chances to do more there, but with no boost, couldn't get back after it. But Northwood turns this one away. Kinsey will blast it to the sky. Now he's got some boost. It's given back to him. Pass to himself off the ceiling, and all three of Northwood there to eat it up. As Fisher are pressing, and maybe some of the better looks that we've seen from Fisher so far. As Sosa was waiting for the pass, I don't think Kinsey got around it. And now the pass coming late as Sosa rotates out.
Sosa, the big goal scorer, looking for a little help here, or maybe a top right shot that he overcooked and ended up sending wide. But either way, you need ways to enable your big scorer, and that is trying to do it. But Sosa was a step too far forward, had to hit the reverse to go back and get that ball. And no dice here for Fisher, but this looks good. 2 minutes in, and it's Fisher in the driver's seat in Game 5.
But still scoreless. But they've got 6 shots to the 1 of Northwood, who have been backed up. Here comes Money. Kinsey, wide rotation.
Yep.
His teammates just cutting in front of him, slowing down the counter. Here's Kinsey again. He's been magical on the ball tonight, beating that first defender almost every single time. Money will deny. Here comes Hockey. Can't get a double tap. That one's up quickly. Zanil's shots on target. And Northwood weather the storm for almost 3 minutes and are able to come out on top.
Such a tough ball for Sosa to handle. He knew he couldn't allow a potential double tap because there's a guy named Zanil on the other side who is going to jump all over anything if he can get there. Sosa unable to handle a tough ball over the shoulder. Zanil put him down. Hockey denied a chance for a kickoff goal, but now we can really put that can you find a quick answer to the test for Fisher.
Like we said, seen teams find the response quickly. And maybe a chance for Fisher. That's a dangerous ball. Here comes Money. He can't get in there in time. Sosa taken out of the play for now. But Fisher has been pressing this entire game. They've been denied this entire game. That quality touch will allow Zanil. He's got Kinsey jumping, and Kinsey still able to break it up. Here comes Hockey, flip reset. Money just trying to slow it down. Fisher, 1:30 left on the clock. Now Lion Blaze. Can he take it himself? Dunks it down, and all of Fisher staring at it will try and control.
Yeah, you need to see more play like that from Money, where you get that air dribble out of your half and you force command. Do not get antsy. You have 60-plus seconds here. That's at least good for a couple of transitions up the field. Do not just dump the ball away aimlessly here if you're Fisher. You need to find ways to hold on to the ball.
Northwood almost crept up a bit too far there. Kinsey almost cleared the back line with that clear, but Money needs options. And he'll find Lion Blaze instead. 50 seconds left on the clock, and Fisher running out of time.
Still plenty to work with, but you're right. Now you start to get a little bit antsy. Under a minute, things get tense, and that's a great 50 into the box. Zanil just out to the side with the immediate tap. He knew exactly where that ball was coming back. Rotates through the net to freeze the support for Sosa's air dribble here. Hockey gets a solid push down. Northwood clamping down the defensive front with a huge pinch from Hockey, and it's almost own goal. Lion Blaze with a chance to put this one away. Kinsey, with a little help from Money, finds a clear. Ball out to Sosa in an awkward form. Only 10 seconds now.
Fisher need one more chance. Or have Northwood done it in Game 5? The outlet pass comes out to Kinsey, takes to the sky. Can Kinsey be the hero? Looking for the bump. Money, can he go all the way?
Sosa,
it comes up to Sosa, but he pops it too high. Fisher can't do it, and they've run out of time. Northwood takes it in 5.
It comes down to the guy shooting nearly 50%, and he puffs it wide, a little too tight, a little too antsy. Northwood survived the 0-second threat, and they will remain undefeated. Fisher will have to wait till the playoffs for a second look, but what a battle. Overall, you can't say you were disappointed with how either team played here.
I said it last week, about Northwood. You can't bet against them until they consistently start losing. And they don't look like they're starting now. 10-0, as you said, for Northwood, as they are the kings of the East so far, as this time Fisher coming up just a game short.
And it was a brutal game 5 too, if you look at it. I mean, the first 2 minutes completely in the driver's seat, pressing. A lot of good opportunities, but then you finally got to see that Northwood defense really come out to play. So, well done to Northwood, a well-deserved win, Corelli. Do you feel like you got your money's worth there? Were your channel points worth it?
Considering it was free for me, absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, an absolute banger here in the second match of the night, but CRL must continue when we come back. Columbia Silver taking on LCU. You're watching CRL. Stick around. You're not going to want to miss it.